Here we are sitting. It's hot and humid. I think it's been in the 90s every day since March. It's just unbelievable.
It's been hot and humid.
But ladies and gentlemen, just when you thought it was safe to come back and play baseball, we have shutdowns of two. Here in Philadelphia, the Marlins and Phillies have both been shut down. Marlins are supposed to go home and play Baltimore. They're locked down here in Philly. The Phillies are supposed to play the Yankees here tonight. That game has been canceled. But a man who never takes a day off, and he still looks like he could play and probably could pitch because guy did it all, Harry. Back in the day in Wichita State, Cubs, and, of course, the Blue Jays, back-to-back World Series, but the most painful one for Phillies fans, as you well remember, Harry.
Yeah.
1993 Sky Dome, and he's still wearing today on our Zoom. He still has a brand-new, out-of-the-box with the tag still on, Toronto Blue Jays championship hat.
It's got the tag on it?
I know. Did you just buy that, or have you saved that since 93, Joe?
No, my wife, you know what, Tony, she has all of the ticket stubs from both World Series, and they were never torn. So she talked her way into getting into all the games without them tearing her tickets. So she has everything. So I kind of went in the top of my closet and pulled this out. She doesn't know I have it. So I'm trying to hide from her right now. So
that brim is still pretty flat,
Tony.
too.
You wearing that for me, Joe? I like that. Listen, you know me. I mean,
Tony.
we worked together when I was at ESPN. You retired, and, of course, you were doing the Cubs game. So we got to meet Mark Grace after he retired and you and ESPN. A lot of fun. It's always great talking to you. And I always think I've been trying to get a hold of you. We were talking before you came on. So you're one of those guys, you have a Twitter account, but you're never on there because you went to Instagram, right?
Well, I did Twitter for a very long time, and then I got a few direct messages, and I kind of go back and forth, but I'm not really a big social media. I do it mainly for my golf tournaments, or if there's an advertisement, I'll do. But, Facebook, never done Facebook ever.
Good call.
Good call. So I've stayed away from that. But Twitter has been very good to me, and so has Instagram. So I apologize for not getting back with you sooner, but I had to make you wait, Tony. So
absolutely.
All my credentials, all my publicists, they finally got to me. All one of them, which is me.
Now, people don't know this. Harry May is my partner here, the whole gang in the studio, that you grew up in the Kansas City area, right outside of Kansas City. So obviously you're a Chiefs fan. You went to Wichita State, and of course you play for the Cubs. But then the story that I love the most is that after you won the 92 World Series against the Braves, you were a free agent and had a choice. And back then, Ewing Kauffman, who was the owner of the Kansas City Royals, had a lot of money, and he was throwing money at everybody, and you had to make a decision. Do I stay home because you were living there since 86 with your wife and family, or do I go back to Toronto and play one more year? And tell everybody how you made that decision.
Well, Tony, first of all, I grew up in Oklahoma City, but living here in Kansas City, Leawood, Kansas, since 1986. You are correct on that.
And that's where your wife's from, right? She's from there.
Yeah, she's from Kansas City, Kansas, and so we've made our home here since 1986, and it's a great place, home, of course, of the Super Bowl champs, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, done a good job, so they brought it home for us. But after the 92 World Series, I was a free agent, and there were only two teams that I was interested in playing for. I wasn't going to get in a bidding war and try to bring in, say, I want to play for Boston, New York, the Dodgers, so they could up the ante of the price. I said it was two teams, Kansas City or go back to Toronto. And, Ewing Kauffman made me a tremendous offer. In fact, it was a better offer than what I received from the Blue Jays because it was more guaranteed money up front. And so when I had the talk with Mr. Kauffman and my agent the day before, he says, where are we at? I said, look, you're in the ballpark. It's between you and Toronto. I said, as soon as I get confirmation from the Lord, then I prayed about it. He's going to show me, and that's where I'm going to end up, and not until. And after Kansas City made the huge offer to me, that night I went to bed. And I had a dream that night. And in the dream, I was dribbling a basketball, and I was walking to the ballpark with my good friend Devon White, and I'm dribbling the basketball because I love basketball. You know that, Tony. And so the place is dark. And when I get to the ballpark, the lights come on and it says, "Welcome to the Sky Dome." And that morning when I woke up, I looked in my backyard and there are Blue Jays all in my backyard. And I called my agent and I said, "We're going to Toronto." That was it. That was how I made my decision.
You believe that? Wow. Is that an unbelievable story? And the Philly fans regret that day forever and ever and ever.
I have a nest of Blue Jays right off my back porch. Yeah, see them every day.
You'll have to go to Buffalo, though, because the Blue Jays can't even go back to Toronto.
They can't even get to Canada.
The great Joe Carter. Now, Joe, first of all, you know what's going on now. Baseball restarted the 60 games, and then you saw what happened this weekend here in Philly. The Miami Marlins found out that a lot of their guys weren't feeling well. I mean, they weren't sick, that they tested positive, and they're not allowed to tell anybody who tests positive. Yet they met in the clubhouse before the game and then decided, yeah, we feel all right, let's go out and play. And then they put an 11 spot up on the Phillies, and then the whole world crashes because everybody finds out that they had 14 people in the entire traveling party who have tested positive for COVID. What's your reaction to all this?
Wow, Tony, I mean, this is this whole pandemic has just been unbelievable. What it has done to the country, to the world. Since everything was shut down on March the 15th, to me, it almost seems like Groundhog Day or spring training because every day is the same. And so, me and my wife here, we're empty nesters. And so it was like, what day is this? I don't know what day it is because it's the same day. And you had the restart of baseball. And in the back of your mind, you knew that something like this was going to happen, but we didn't know how far it would get or how soon it would spread. But we didn't even get 2 games into the season before this happened now. And I think it's just an aberration of things to come because, there's no way to avoid this. They've done it without fans, but with the players. When you travel, when you go to hotels, you can't all stay in the same room. I did that with my family, 11 kids in the family. We all stayed in the same room, so we quarantined ourselves. So the only way you're going to be able to control it is if you put everybody in the same room, one big suite, and just keep them there, and they can't go anywhere during the time they're not at the ballpark. That's the only way. But other than this, I think it's going to continue to spread.
Well, where do you think they go from here, Joe? Let's just say that they have a couple of more cases maybe on the Marlins. Maybe the Phillies end up getting a couple of cases here or there. But is this something like that they can play with? Because I think it's just a reality that we're going to have to find ways to just deal with this and still go on about daily life.
You know what? You're right because it's something that we're going to have to deal with until we have the vaccination. This thing is not going away. And I think that as a ball player, as a person, we have to be committed to doing our job. And that's when we're out in public to wear a mask. I wear my mask everywhere I go. When I play golf, I even have my mask on. I'm the only one on the golf course with a mask on. So, I'm doing that not because I have it, but I want to protect others and show the respect. And that's what is going to have to happen. But it's something that, a lot of the guys are asymptomatic. So they feel great. They can go out there and play, but it's a matter of passing it on. And when they're young and healthy, then a lot of those guys can recover from that. And so they feel invincible. But it's not the players we're kind of worried about. It's more of when they go home, their kids, their fathers, their mothers who are older, who may have symptoms that we don't know about that could be detrimental to them. So that is the part why you see a few players opting out because of those conditions. But I think I don't know what Major League Baseball is going to do if they're going to try to shut it down. It's up in the air because I know a lot of the football, basketball, they're watching to see what MLB will do with this because, football is beginning to open back up and so is basketball. So they may have the same conundrum as far as what they need to do. So baseball is they're up right now to see how they're going to handle it.
Joe Carter, in the Canadian Hall of Fame, but not in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame in this country, Harry. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Now, Joe, you were like Larry Bowa. You were the first year of eligibility. You didn't get enough votes to stay on the ballot, so you've been waiting for the Veterans Committee. Do you think you'll ever get back in there? You think you'll ever get into the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Well, Tony, I had a shot 2 years ago when the Veterans Committee came up. They put in Lee Smith, and Harold Baines got in. But I've always said that Lee Smith never should have been on that Veterans Committee ballot. He should have been in the Hall of Fame right from get-go.
Absolutely.
Because when he retired, he was the league leader in save, the career league leader in saves. Seeing my good buddy Harold Baines get in was a plus. And so now what I like about those committees, because they're made up of people who played the game, people who know the game, and it's not just all about numbers. They talk about a 10-year dominance. And if you look at my statistics, as far as offensively, in those 10 years, I was either 1, 2, or 3 in all the offensive categories and games playing every day. So, there still is a slight chance. But if I don't get in, it's not because I don't feel I deserve to. But I know that my peers who I played against, they know what type of player I was. My teammates know what type of player I was. And to me, that's satisfaction enough.
And you talk about golf, the great Joe Carter. He has a golf tournament every year, Harry. So Harry has yet to ask you if he can get you on your track out there in the Kansas City area.
Harry, come on out. We got a great course out here in my backyard called Hallbrook. It's the Tom Fazio course, one of the first ones he built.
There you go.
When he built it, it was a 151 slope rating.
Wow.
It was one of the toughest ones that he ever built, and he came back and he felt sorry for us, so he redid it, took out some of the undulation, and now
greens.
The back tees is only 143.
Oh, wow. That's still incredible.
Wow. We have a tradition here, Joe Carter, on the show, because Harry's our resident guy. I haven't played golf in 5 years. I stink. I go out every once in a while on the charity thing, but I don't even do that anymore. But every time we have a guest, and he knows that they must live because you have a charity tournament every year, and you get all the big-time stars that go, he wants to know what the track is, and now his eyes are perked up because you mentioned a great one.
We should go out and do the show from there.
Absolutely.
During his event.
Exactly. Now, did you do your charity golf tournament this year?
No, unfortunately, we did not because it's in Canada, and they're not allowing anyone in Canada. Okay. It was going to be on June 17th. We had to postpone it, and hopefully was trying to get it in the middle of August, but that's still not going to be a go. So we're just postponing it, cancel it until next year. But I've done it for 10 years now. Mitch has been up a couple of years. Mm-hmm. And Tony, I'll tell you a great story about Mitch because there's always great stories about Mitch. Okay. So I talked to him. We do a card show together. And so he says he wants to play in my tournament. So I'm like, okay, hey, I'll get you to my tournament. Fine. And so it's the first time he's been back to Toronto. And he lands at the airport. Limousine picks him up and brings him to the tournament, but it's a practice round. And so he gets out of the limousine, and the first person he sees is my son, Jordan, who looks exactly like his dad, okay? And so the next person he sees is my younger brother, Fred, who looks exactly like me. We are split an image. And Mitch goes, damn, he said, everybody in Toronto looks like Joe Carter.
That is great.
That was his initiation into coming to my tournament. We've had a great time. We've raised, over $6 million for the Children's Aid Foundation. I've got a lot of celebrities that come back every year. Dr. J, and I frequent his tournament a lot. And I tell you what, that course they have up there, Aronimink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I played it a few times. Oh, the Ace Club, also great courses there. Great.
You got Harry's really excited. He says, screw baseball. Let's talk golf here.
Exactly.
Let's talk golf.
Exactly.
Golf will survive the coronavirus, Tony.
Now, what course do you use up in Toronto?
Toronto is called Eagle's Nest.
Mm.
And it is a public course. It's one of the top ones in all of Canada. It is tough. Sterling Sharp, who I had to beg to come to my tournament, I said, look, Sterling, if I just get you there one time, you won't want to miss it ever again. And when he got there, he said, and Sterling's a great golfer. And Sterling goes, He goes, Joe, this is a great tournament. He said, this is a great track. And, we have a skins tournament. The first year we had the skins tournament, it was 18 players, and we played with threesomes. And so we had a celebrity pot and everything, and they were kind of mad at me because I shot one under for the skins tournament with 2 double bogeys.
Wow!
And kind of walked away with all the skins. So after that, I realized that I had to share the wealth and not beat up on everybody. So, I let the other guys win some skins now.
Does Joe play in that American Century tournament?
No, you don't go out there
to
Tahoe. I've never seen you out there, Joe.
No. I was out there for 10 years in a row. I have not been out there the last 2 years. I'm not out there this year and last year. 2018 was my last year. They make the rounds. Guys get a chance to go out there and play, and I had a great time out there. Unfortunately, I never got too much TV time. I don't know. I never got the good TV slots.
Yeah, and you're a scratch golfer, right? What you got to be scratch, aren't you, or close to it?
Well, yeah. Every time I itch, scratch. But no, at the time I was a 1 and 2 handicap. I'm now a 5 handicap because I want to get my handicap up because I'm tired of giving all these guys strokes at my club. They're killing me. But I'm always been a single digit, and I think the highest I finished at Tahoe was, I believe, 17th or 18th. Now, I did play this past January in the Diamond Resorts with the LPGA women. And I think John Smoltz won that. I think he had 120-some points. I ended up with 100, I believe it was 107, 105 points. So, I was in the thick of it, but golf I love it. It's a great game. I've never had a bad day on the golf course, and I could go out there, play 36, and then go hit balls for 2 hours. It's just that great a game.
The great Joe Carter, man. You're speaking Harry's language right here, right now, man.
I can see Harry perking up.
I'll tell you.
Man.
Hey, let's go.
Well, see, I got my loudmouth bag right there, man. My loud bag, it's got the American flagadelic. I'm ready to go out. I just have my bag sitting right here, Joe.
Can you see it?
I even have my Tommy Armour Persimmon driver still in there.
Tony, it doesn't do you any good there. You got to go out and play it. You got to get the Callaways, the Mavericks. You got to use everything. Oh no, my tournament, we have a great time. We have about 80 sponsors.
Wow.
And the guys that come out, we have a lot of the women's, Troy Mullins, the long drive champion. She's played the last couple of years. Jerome Bettis, Dr. J, it's Jim McMahon. It's something that, I said, if I want to have a tournament, I want to put it on. I want it to be the best one there is. And the guys love coming to the Joe Carter Classic. So we missed it this year. We had our newest guy we had coming this year was Travis Kelce. And with the virus, we couldn't have it. So hopefully we'll get him next year and hopefully it'll be the 2-time defending champion Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, Joe, I got to get a couple more quick ones in baseball here. Toronto doesn't have a home this year. They're going to play in Buffalo. I don't know if you've been up to that Bison Stadium. And they're obviously getting the lights and everything ready for it, and they're going to play August 11th there. How hard is that going to be? Because the Expos did it, back in the 91, I believe. They had to play on the road when they had a problem in their building and the beam fell down. How hard is it going to be if they continue to play for the Blue Jays to do what they're going to have to do?
Well, I'm glad that they are getting the chance to play in Buffalo. So at least you have some similarity of a home field. I think it would have been detrimental had they had to play all of their games on the road. That would not have been fair to them because, they're living out of a suitcase every single day. In Buffalo, a lot of Toronto Blue Jay fans there. Our AAA team being there, which is great. And now for the first time in a lot of years, you have 3 teams in New York, playing professional baseball. So I think the right decision was made. I think that guys like Vladimir Guerrero, because he has been so familiar with playing there in Buffalo, I think it's going to be an advantage for those guys who have spent time there in AAA. And with a young ball club that they have, they have the chance to go out there and really play well and do some damage in this shortened 60-game season. if the season continues. That's what we need to look forward to. But being in Buffalo, I think it's great for the Blue Jays that they have a chance to play there.
Yeah, what does it say about our Phillies here, Joe, that they lost 2 out of 3 to the Marlins, which had 1/3 of the roster had COVID-19?
Well, I tell you what, right now it's any given Sunday, anybody can get beat. And when you have the urgency, you don't have the luxury of saying, hey, it's opening day, get off to a slow start. You go, 10-15 your first month. You say, that's all right. It's only April. No, I mean, this is July. This is August. Every game counts. And it makes a difference. But they're in Philadelphia. Bryce, I see he had a long home run the other day. It's a veteran ball club. You've got a guys that they need to get out to quick starts. But this is all something that's everyone's not used to. Starting the season when it's hot, in July and August, and it's been hot everywhere across the country.
Yeah, but the hitters love this because the hitters are smacking the ball all over the place. It's the pitching. Normally the pitching is ahead of the hitters. Now the hitters, because they're starting in the heat, are ahead of the pitchers, right?
Well, yeah, because I take that back because we saw a lot of 1-0, 2-0 ball games the first day of the season. The pitchers had the advantage. I think the hitters. I think we as hitters we get more used to the atmosphere as far as the crowd noise. So it takes some adjustments. As a pitcher, you try to go out there, you try to be cool, calm, and collective and keep your emotions in. And so I think not having any fans has been great for pitchers and not so well for hitters because we thrive on that emotion. We need that adrenaline to be pumped up. And usually the pitchers, the first few games, they're going to be ahead of the hitters. It happened, I think, the first couple of games. But after that, guys, the bats are getting loose and they're swinging the bats. They're seeing what this strike zone is. And, when you have a bad strike zone, you got to be like me. You say, look, if umpire has a bad strike zone, I know I'm going to swing at least 3 pitches so I can get my own self out. If there's a bad strike zone. But one of those balls I'm going to put in play somewhere.
Like a 2-2 slider in 1993 in the bottom of the 9th inning at the Sky Dome against Mitch Williams?
Well, I thought it was a slider, but it was a cut fastball, so it had slider action on it down and in. But here's the thing. I'm a low ball hitter. The reason why I'm a low ball hitter because of my golf swing because of golf. Same semantics. Golf, you're keeping your head down, hands through the ball, head behind ball. And that's all that I did. All I did was hit a pitching wedge that was down and in. I just hit it down the line, kept it fair, 135 yards. That's all I needed right there. Right, Harry?
Yep. Had a little,
he knows the yardage.
Had a little draw on it.
Yeah, he didn't say feet. 135 yards into the corner in left field. And people in Philly hate you, but I know I love you, Joe. You're one of my favorite people of all time, and I'm so happy to work with you and talk to you a lot. And you did a great job as a broadcaster, too, and with the Cubs for many, many years. So why did you give up broadcasting in the last question?
Why did I give up broadcasting? Well, I did the 2 years with ESPN, 98, 99, and then I went to Toronto, did that there for 2 years, and then I did the Cubs games on WGN. I had a 2-year deal, and then I had replaced Steve Stone, who was ill at the time. But then he recovered and came back. That was basically his job. So myself and Dave Otto were just filling in. And, one thing that I learned at an early age, Bobby Bonds taught me something that I never forgot. He said, Joe, always be in a position to say no. And so what that meant was if you take care of your body, if you take care of your money, and if you don't want to do something later on after you retire, you don't have to do it because you're in a crunch for money. So I was able to do that and take care of myself. And when Steve Stone came back, it was 2002. I came back home. My son Jordan was just at an age, he was 13 and really involved in baseball. So I took the time to stay with my family, to coach, and to work on my handicap. And so that's all I did was coach basketball, coach baseball, and play golf.
The great Joe Carter. Yeah, did you ever get that ball back, though? That's the question everybody wonders about. The home run ball in Skydome.
Yeah.
You were in the home field, so obviously the home fan's going to give it to you, and you hooked them up probably with a bat and another ball.
Well, Tony, what you have to do, you have to realize when you're going to hit a home run like that majestic of a home run, you have to make sure you don't hit it into the stands. And so what I did, like I said, I knew the back wall was 135 yards. I hit a low line drive. It hits the back wall and it bounces back to our bullpen catcher, John Sullivan. And so John Sullivan, after all the hoopla, I go do all my interviews. And I walk into the clubhouse like maybe 45 minutes after a game, and the first person I see is John. He goes, "Hey, I think I got something you may want." And it was the baseball. So he gave me that baseball. And a funny story, as soon as the game was over with, the Hall of Fame guy comes running to Sullivan and says, "Where's the ball at? Where's the ball at?" Because he wants it. and Sully goes, "I don't know where the ball's at. I don't know. I don't know what happened to it." But he had it all along because he was going to give it to me. So, yes,
wow.
I have the baseball. It's in a very safe place, and it'll be a part of the Carter household for a very long time.
This is Robin here. We might need to it's probably your wife has it in a safe place, right? With all the other stuff that she put away. Let's clarify this.
Hey, Joe.
I can't give away too many secrets.
Joe, it's so great to catch up with you, man. I love it talking baseball, and I really appreciate the time. Thanks for popping in, man. Great to see you again.
All right, Tony. Hey, we get to Philadelphia, Tony, Harry. Hey, let's go play some golf.
Absolutely. Harry's got got places to hook you up.
Yeah.
I don't have any connections here, Joe. I only live here. Harry's the golf guy here.
Let's
do it.
Sounds good. I'll
Great to talk.
take you up on that.
All right, beautiful. Joe Carter, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give him